Hey everybody, it is a battle royale between Sony's A1E OLED and LG's E7 OLED. Now, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you've heard that both of these TVs are amazing and you're wondering which one is best, either because you're a TV geek like myself or you're actually considering buying one of these two TVs and want to know you're getting the absolute best. Well, I can tell you right now that from a picture quality standpoint alone, that's an almost impossible decision. They're both amazing. It's kind of like getting an expertly cooked dry-aged steak and trying to decide between a New York strip and a ribeye. They're both delicious, they're just different versions of delicious. So it's my challenge now to describe to you what makes each of these TVs unique and let you decide for yourself which flavor you like best. Let's start with the E7 OLED. It's got what LG calls a picture-on-glass design. So the OLED panel is mounted on glass, allowing the edges to essentially disappear into the background. It's a very effective illusion, especially when the TV is mounted on the wall. For sound, the TV incorporates this sound bar with forward-firing speakers, so the sound is heading directly at the listener. This alone is a big improvement in onboard sound quality, but LG also folds in Dolby Atmos processing for surround sound effect. I didn't get a lot of that surround sound in my testing, but I will say the TV sounds well above average, and that counts for a lot. Compare that to the Sony A1E, which has a much more dramatic approach to design, both for its aesthetics and sound. Visually, the Sony is stunning and very much an eye-catcher beyond being super thin. Sony uses this easel-style approach to let the TV sit flush against a TV stand. It's raked back at a slight angle and just generally looks like a sexy beast of a TV. Unfortunately, that design impact is lost somewhat when you mount it on the wall, as this easel bumps the TV out from the wall quite a bit. Still, its total black design has a way of luring you in even when the TV is off. When it comes to the sound quality, the Sony has something really special going on here. The screen itself is the speaker with actuators on each side and a subwoofer in the back creating the low frequencies. The effect is amazing. In fact, it sounds really good, but the cool thing is voices from the actors seem to be coming from the actors' mouths themselves due to directional steering. Now, I will say if you step away more than say 10 feet, that stereo effect really kind of loses its luster. Now, for smart TV interface and control, LG has WebOS, and if you know anything about our TV reviews, you already know we're big fans. It's easy to use for anyone. Voice search works very well across a bunch of popular apps. It's lightning fast to switch among those apps, and the TV is just reliable. It always works, no hangups or stalls. I'm not huge on the on-page advertising, but I'll forgive it for being otherwise awesome. And if you like Wii-style point-and-shoot control, then LG's Magic Motion Remote is a zippy and fun way to control your TV. Sony runs the Android TV platform, and generally speaking, I am just not a fan. I will say, though, that the TV comes with some specific advantages that some of your more tech-savvy people will dig. In addition to supporting Chromecast, so you can find content on your phone and have it launch on your TV, this TV is compatible with Amazon's Alexa, so you can control your TV through any Echo speaker. It may not be practical for a lot of folks, but it's fun, and it tends to get the geek in me interested in playing around with the feature. Aside from that, I feel like Android TV is sluggish and slow, and I'd just rather use a Roku, which is what I do when I use this TV. Let's talk about HDR now. LG's OLED support every format of HDR there is right out of the box. What's more, LG's OLEDs make it very clear when you're watching HDR content, whether through an app or from a device connected via HDMI. The Sony, on the other hand, supports HDR10 now and promises Dolby Vision support through a future update. But for now, the LG wins in the HDR support department. As for HDR delivery, well, that's part of the picture quality, so I suppose we should just get to the part most of you are waiting for. Picture quality on both of these televisions is absolutely stellar. Take either one of them home and you are going to be thrilled, I promise you. Unless you're a super tech geek or a TV reviewer and you stack them up right next to each other, you'll never know that one does a few little tiny granular things better than the other. For those of you who care, the Sony's processing delivers a slightly cleaner, less noisy image for cable and satellite TV sources, but it lacks the depth that the LG pulls off, and at a distance, the cleanliness isn't that noticeable. For peak brightness, it's essentially a wash. In real-world TV watching scenarios, I feel like the LG has a slight advantage because its tone mapping doesn't clip bright whites as aggressively as the Sony does. So to me, the picture feels more balanced and detailed. However, the Sony's spectral highlights appear more intense, and that's because those bright areas are being juiced up to the absolute max. So you are slightly more dazzled by the Sony in a head-to-head comparison, but in real life, again, it's a wash. I will say the Sony has the upper hand in motion resolution and judder reduction. Both TVs look the same with Blu-ray and Ultra HD Blu-ray sources playing 24p material. But when you watch cable or satellite, and with much of the programming you'll stream with apps, the Sony is smoother with less soap opera effect than the LG. You have to use some motion smoothing software with both. The Sony just does it slightly better. You're going to see some flicker with both of these TVs. It's less jarring than it was with earlier OLEDs, but in these panning scenes, even without black frame insertion, there's a little bit of flicker. I get over that really quickly though. So my boss tells me I have to make a call here. Which one's better, LG's OLED or Sony's OLED? Well, I'm going to begrudgingly call it for LG this time, and that's mostly because I can get all this amazing picture quality right up at a 65-inch screen size through LG's C7 series for a whole lot less money. That's the thing, LG's OLEDs all look exactly the same. The picture quality is the same across the board. So you trade off for features, but you still get that picture quality, and that's what tips the scales for LG. With that said, Sony's TV is amazing. The design is spectacular, the picture quality is spectacular, everything about it is just really compelling, and the spectral highlights are just a little bit shinier than they are with the LG, which is something I think a lot of people are going to like. The bottom line is, no matter which you pick, you are getting an absolutely amazing TV, and you are going to love it.